Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Ada Baby. It's been a long time. Like, I really thought in myself I was going to come to this channel as much as I could, but some things along the line really hindered my progress on YouTube channel. Not necessarily they were things that are unavoidable, but there are things that I can't really just start talking about them, but thank God we're here today. And then I and my family recently moved to Canada, and it's been a lot of experience here and there. In fact, making this video, we're just about roughly 8 days in Canada, so it's been a lot of new experiences, a lot of things that we were not told. All right, so I'll be talking about one of those things that we were not actually told. Back there in Nigeria, we really find it easy for when you come over, you feel you can use your phones, and then you can do the things you were doing with your phones. But unfortunately, I think those are the very important things people are supposed to be informed about. But it's like an adult program. You get to find things yourself. So I would say that one of the very important things you need to have when coming to Canada is having a good phone. Yeah, having a good phone. In as much as we use several devices in Nigeria, here in Canada, there are some specifications and there are some kind of phones you won't be able to use. For instance, I use the Infinix phone. Of course, the Infinix phone is one of the good phones a random person can have in Nigeria. But coming here, my phone is completely useless. In fact, the phone I'm using to make this video is an Infinix phone. But right here, the phone is just serving me for internet purposes if I am where there is network. The SIMs or the networks that are being used here does not work on the phone. It doesn't work on the phone. In fact, even my husband has a Samsung phone. I think it's one of the old models, which was quite helpful for him there in Nigeria. Is not also useful. That's the honest truth. In fact, I'm saying this because it has really bothered me a lot. When coming over here, we have vital things in our head like accommodation. We have stuff like getting a car because of course the weather is cool depending on the time you travel. We had those things, few things that we had in mind, but coming over here we discovered that a phone, a very good standing phone, is as essential as having a roof over your head. One of the reasons why I think having a very good phone is important is because over here in Canada, you cannot go to places you want to go to without your network. For instance, the bus routes that I'm going to explain, you have to locate them using your phones, and your phones has to have a network. And secondly, when you contact an employer, fine, it's a good thing you've sent an email across to an employer. The employer would want to call you. Most of the time, they do not send emails. From my experience, the first ones they get to see your CV, they want to call you. They want to have a conversation because here in Canada, there is a lot of conversation. You don't expect an employer not to talk to you. They are very good in conversations. So most of the time when an employer wants to reach out to you, the first thing they do is to call, not an email. It is only when you've understood the gap you have in making a call that you can now request. But of course, for someone who you've not met before, you can't even know which choice can go for you. You understand? Because you're just there shooting out that. But when your phone is not compatible, when they call you, In as much as you have a network, a SIM card in your phone like I have now, because I'm telling you that this video is just, I'm about 8 days old in Canada, so I'm still using my phone. I'm awaiting the phones we ordered. In fact, the phones in the stores are quite expensive, so I think that would be a video for another time. So most of the employers want to call, and when they called you and your number is not reachable, or you get to see your calls coming in as a flash, you can't even call back, it's frustrating because you really need this job. In fact, it's something you can't, or you don't want to miss out, because of course you're going to a new country, so you have to get a job. And another thing is, when you're looking for accommodation, the housing manager would also want to reach out on a phone call. Do you understand? So that's how important it is to have a phone. So in as much as you are coming into Canada with a plan or the mindset that you want to have a house, a roof under your, or over your head, you want to eat food, remember that a phone is very important. It's very important. And in our next video, I'm going to share with you how you could call from Nigeria, and even when you get to this place, at your first, I think the first few times prior to when you establish a good network, there are ways you could call them. You understand? So it's very, very important. Okay, so when you want to come over to Canada, I would recommend that you go for a very good iPhone. Yes, a very good iPhone, and I think most of the iPhones are good here. Yeah, I don't know what they call it. There's something in the phone that makes it more compatible. And in fact, let me just tell you a story. When I went to the place we got our SIM card, the person in the store saw my phone and he was like, "What kind of phone is this?" I was like, I was proud of my phone. Of course, I've been using this phone for a long time, so I was really proud of it. So I was just, it's an Infinix phone. He was like, "What's that?" Like, he was just talking like as if the phone was really not a good phone, you understand? And of course, he said it with his mouth. He said it, "This phone is not going to work with our network." He said it. So I was like, "You don't know this phone, so you don't know that it can work." So I was so confident about my phone, as if I was even a brand ambassador of the phone. Yeah, it was that bad. I just said, "No, my phone, it will work." So at first, he now said, "Okay, that we need to get a phone." So we felt he was trying to market the phones they had in their stores. That was what we had in mind the first time, because even with my husband's Samsung, he wasn't really, he was saying it was an old model and all that, he wasn't sure that particular one was going to work. But my own, he condemned it outrightly. So we had to make a call, and then someone advised us that we should just tell him we would order a phone, that he should go ahead and give us the SIM cards. And then we got it, and then we went to a nearby coffee shop. We started putting the SIMs into our phones, and lo and behold, what he said was true. It was not just a mere conversation, it was true. It never worked on my phone particularly, but for his phone it worked at some point. In fact, there are areas we would go to and he will be able to make a call or be able to use the data services. But for my phone, it was flat. It was not working at all. It wasn't working at all. So most of the time when we want to use the bus route, we have to be together, because we will start off with our house Wi-Fi, and then when we get to some places where it works with his phone, we continue like that, and then till we get to our destination. We'll look out for our destination before we'll take off, because in case there's no network. And there is another thing you could do, which I'll be talking about in the next video. when you get here on how to survive when you don't have a standing network. Yeah, so these are very vital things. So seeing you in the next video. I hope you do subscribe, like and share, and I pray that I'll be consistent. I just pray, and see you. Stay tuned. Bye.